everybody. Welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday and it's August 10th, and we have one meeting to tell you about today, but it is an important meeting. It is the United Board meeting, and it will be in the boardroom as well as virtual. And of course, that is immediately following our morning broadcast of This Day. Now, if you would like to follow along virtually, you can go to lagunawoods.com/meetings and follow along there. All right, let's go ahead and let you know who's on the show. We have Jeff Parker here live with us, who's going to give us a Laguna Woods update. And then we sat down with Dr. Louis Sandoval, and he is here on behalf of Kaiser Permanente. And he talks all about something very important about mental health and many of the people who are struggling right now due to isolation and depression. All right, let's take a look at our local weather. We are looking at a warm up, but for the next couple of days, we're looking okay. We are looking at some warm temperatures today, 84, 67. Tomorrow, it will be hot with an 88, 69. Then it cools just slightly for the next 2 days after that, 87, 70, 87, 71. Saturday, hot again, 88, 73. So we are looking at very warm temperatures. Now, our sunrise this morning was at 6:10, and our sunset will be at 7:43. Thank you, Joel, for sending in this photo of a sea lion who is in Cambria, California. So thanks for sending that in. Now, I have a computer model generation here that was put out by Weather Bell, and it basically is predicting what the temperatures across the United States will look like over the next few days. Now, while our temperatures here look okay, unfortunately, in Northern California, it is looking very warm up there again, so they're going to be dealing with over 100 degrees. Now, we don't really have any fires near us here, thank goodness, but unfortunately, Greece is really suffering, and I just happened to come across this video that I wanted to share with you because it is just frightening to see what's happening in Athens, and this is one of the islands there where people are being shuttled off on a ferry, and it is just scary. So I wanted to share that with you to show you what that looks like. It's just awful what they're dealing with there in Athens, so it's just scary. So when we think about fires, you know, they're not too close to us, but in other parts of the world, there's definitely some scary stuff going on. All right, when we come back, we will sit down live with Jeff Parker, so stick around.
How is life feeling these days? Even if you're active, those little aches and pains can be exhausting. Now there's a new way to experience an ancient healing therapy right in the comfort of your home. Introducing the J&H Lifestyles Infrared Sauna, a beautifully crafted sauna with proven benefits of immune boosting, pain relief, and relaxation. And there are 1- and 2-person models to fit the tightest of spaces, bringing the warmth of infrared sauna therapy to you. Expert installation is available in your area. Just give us a call or visit our website today.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Get out and live your life with the Buzz Around XL travel scooter from Golden. The Buzz Around is fun to drive with a tight indoor turning radius so you can go just about anywhere. It's also so easy to charge and offers all-day range so you can go further. The Buzz Around even has more leg and foot room for all-day driving comfort. Be safe with the XL's ultra-bright LED headlight. Plus, the Buzz Around XL can be easily taken apart into several lightweight pieces. See for yourself just how easy and affordable mobility freedom can be.
At Laguna Woods Dental Care, our goal is to serve and provide dental services to the residents of Laguna Woods. Dr. Mohsen Mahmood is currently specializing in senior dental care at USC School of Dentistry. Here at Laguna Woods Dental Care, we are up to date with the latest technology. Our top priority is your overall wellness, ensuring your current medications do not affect your oral health. We offer an affordable membership plan that includes cleanings and deep cleanings if recommended. We're located outside Gate 3. Call us today.
welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here who's going to go over some COVID numbers and some budget things, and we always have like a little sprinkling of everything.
Yeah, we got about 3 items that we're going to talk about today, and unfortunately we're going to start with COVID. As you can see up here on the screen, we've kind of hit a high for the last couple of weeks with regards to cases received, over 2,000 cases for Orange County, which is a big jump. We thought we had made a big jump when we went over 1,000 cases, and we did that about 3 times last week, but then yesterday's numbers came in and now we're at 2,100, which is a big jump. The concerning part, and we've heard it probably if you've watched TV or anything, is the hospitalizations and the ICUs. They're getting now impacted with the 453 hospitalizations in the ICUs. When we get that high in number, and this is the highest numbers we've been in since February. So I looked back and looked at all the reports, and we started going down after February, and unfortunately we're back up to those high numbers. And that really impacts people who are planning on going or need to go to the hospital for some other major reason, and the impact that it could have on one. And they had a story last night about somebody that had to have a blood infusion. They had to get to the hospital, and they were concerned about the fact that they could be putting themselves in jeopardy because of COVID.
Right.
That's the whole reason for the separation in the ICUs, but it takes up beds and takes up capacity. So we want to be real careful about that. And unfortunately, two residents in the county passed away as well yesterday, or reported yesterday, I should say. So the next step for us, for the village itself, I wanted to mention that we're part of Laguna Woods again. Our numbers have gone up 10, which is a pretty big jump in just 10 days. So we went from 435 on the 28th of July to 456 cases. So that's 20 cases. So percentage-wise, that's a pretty big jump. Now, no new fatalities, so that's really good news. And that may be because people are vaccinated. It could be secondary infections because of people that have been vaccinated, breakthroughs as they call them, don't get as sick. So that may be the scenario. Or people that haven't been vaccinated yet, or obviously can get pretty sick with this new variant. So our only suggestion again is to the whole village is be diligent as you have been. Our percentages are very, very high with regards to how the Laguna Woods zip code has vaccinated. So thank you for everybody that's done that. And for those that are not vaccinated for medical reasons or for whatever reason, again, be careful out there, wear your mask, be protective of yourself and others while you're out there, because this thing is spreading quite fast. And to show you the impact is, although we're not closing any facilities, I want to make sure all of our operations are still a go. We did have to close our doors to our manor alterations downstairs because of the impact of COVID and the impact that it was having on our operations down there. So these are individuals that we wanted to make sure that they've been isolated, that they don't have COVID, when you come in contact. All of that type of activity has put us in a predicament down there, so we've decided to close the walk-ins. You can still make an appointment on the phone, you can talk to people on the phone, you can email, get all your questions answered. Those processes are still in place. So I don't want people to think that they can't get to manor alterations. It's just you can't walk in at this point in time.
Right. And I think the overall consensus is that, this is going to be around for a while. It's not going away. But like you said, do your due diligence, make sure that you are careful out there, whether you're vaccinated or not. There's still a slight situation where you can get COVID, but again, getting the vaccine makes it so you don't get as sick. Because if you look at the numbers like you were showing us, you've got high cases, but how many are actually, this is what I really would love to know, is how many are actually really getting severely sick, or is it just slightly sick, or even though they got tested, how sick are they getting? Because that would be really important, I think, for most people to know. And
that's really probably our impetus when we look at these reports every day, is how is that impacting that hospitalization in those ICUs? Because that's a telltale sign that people are getting really sick again.
Exactly. So be diligent, that is for sure. All right, so now budgets. That's going on
so
still.
This week, yes. This week is our big budget week, and since the presentations of our, it kind of almost our final phase. Obviously, they adopt them in September, but this is where we televise to make sure everybody understands where GRF, United, and Third are at. GRF had their meeting yesterday. They had, just real quickly, they had operating expenses that they're looking at $41 million and a capital project plan for 2022 over $7 million. So that shows just how big GRF is in their operations. And now we're going to look at United and Third and on Thursday and Friday. United will be in the afternoon on Thursday, and then Third will do in the morning on Friday. So 1:30 on Thursday and 9:30 on Friday. Now, because of the COVID scenario, United is also going to do virtual with their meeting, and we haven't heard yet from Third if they're going to do a modified approach or not. But that we're looking at that. So they're moving ahead. They've done a great job. The boards have done a great job. Staff's done a great job putting these budgets together. It's been a very tough year to do that.
Sure.
But we're moving forward. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, which is the good news, is our boiler that has taken forever to get built has been shipped from the Midwest. So we have a tracking number, so we keep tracking it. It's like one of those. And we anticipate that the boiler is going to get here by the end of the week.
Great.
So once it gets here, staff is gearing up to put that baby in place, get it operational, get the pool heated, and hopefully early next week we'll have pool 1 back in operation.
That is great, just in time for it to be nice and hot. They'll all be very thankful for that. Well, excellent. Well, good. Well, I know you're always hard at work trying to get us lots of information. I can't imagine what you'll talk about once the budgets are over.
I'm sure we'll be able to give updates on a lot of things. So.
Good. All right. Well, thank you again. We'll see you next time.
Sounds great.
And remember that Manor Alterations is closed now for walk-ins, but please make sure that you call in for any appointments. We'll be right back.
Why do I love being a doctor at Kaiser Permanente?
My only job is to take great care of my patients. I'm empowered to do what's right for you.
Our digital records mean your medical history is in one place, so I can give you great care.
Your primary care doctor, your specialists. It's great. We all work together as one team.
Our integrated approach to healthcare helps my patients live longer, healthier lives.
I don't just practice here, I'm a patient too. I wouldn't trust my family's healthcare to anyone else.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Dr. Sandoval, who is here on behalf of Kaiser Permanente. Well, Dr. Sandoval, it's very nice to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Good to be here.
Now, we've talked in the past and we've talked about psychiatric treatment for a variety of different things. But I think our latest concern, not just with yourself, but with many doctors across the board, is isolation and depression because of how many people have been mandated to stay home over the last several months. So before we get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, a little bit about me. I practice, like you said, I'm a psychiatrist, which a lot of people wonder, is that a therapist? Is that a doctor? So I'm an MD, I'm a psychiatrist. I went to medical school. I do prescribe medication. I'm also boarded in family medicine. And with Kaiser, I strictly do adult psychiatry here, but I also have a family medicine background. So in terms of your general health, I could address that as well. And I've been with Kaiser for probably about 10 years now, doing mostly adult outpatient psychiatry.
Thank you for that description, because sometimes we do wonder, exactly what entails a psychiatrist, because there are a variety of different people we can see for therapy, not knowing whether or not they can prescribe medication or not. So you were of the highest of all of those.
Well, yeah, I went to UCLA Medical School, so it's always good to ask. And because you do get therapists who are PhDs, so they refer to themselves as doctors as well in their title. And so if you ever go see somebody who's either a therapist, a psychiatrist, it's always good to ask them, now, do you prescribe medication? What is it that I can expect this visit? And that's a great question. It's a fair question.
All right, excellent. So let's kind of recap what's happened over the last several, months, almost, over a year now. We've had the mandate to stay at home and be isolated for quite some time. What have you seen happen to many of our older patients over the last several months?
That's a great question because there's a few things that we need to consider as we talk about this topic. We've been isolated, like you said, for over a year now, and one of the things to consider is how it happened. And what I mean by that is we really didn't see it happening. It was kind of like a hurricane that just came out of nowhere, and from one day to the next, if you were following the news, you knew that there was this virus out there, but really quickly, all of a sudden, we heard, hey, we got to shut down. We're going to be isolated. And it just happened extremely fast. So that was already a big shock and a stress, especially for anybody who's already of a mature age, of an older generation, who, might see their loved ones on occasion or have a very set schedule, or they really enjoy their routine. To all of a sudden be thrown off that way, that was very, very hard for a lot of people, because I know that now, fast forward a year later, so what's been going on in that time, the way that we can best evaluate that is kind of looking back. Now that in the last few months, we were going to try to open up a little bit more, hopefully have a little bit more aperture, even as far as patients coming in to see me in clinic. And what I was hearing a lot, especially from my patients who are more mature in years, a little bit elderly, they really enjoyed coming in, because coming into the clinic was part of their routine. And they were saying, I really miss that. I know that on this day I can go see you, and then I go have lunch with my friend or something. And that's very, very important, because we forget sometimes, if we don't have a regular 9 to 5 job, if we're not working, it can be very easy to just kind of sit by ourselves and not do anything. So what happened during this isolated period is people started to realize how much even those little outings, or even having one outing a day, was such an important part of their life. And now that was taken away. So now what I've been seeing is people have started to get depressed, and they might not even realize it. People have also have a heightened anxiety, and that they realize a little bit more, because they say, I don't feel good. Also, people were afraid, because this was a big quarantine under the idea that you could get very sick, and so some people actually were afraid to even go get the regular medical care. They have any heart issues, diabetes, things of that nature. They were staying home, and they might not have had access, especially to technology, which is a little bit harder. It's harder for me too to learn new technology, and as we mature, to say, oh, we'll do a video visit or a phone visit. Sometimes I hard to follow. So to answer your question, what I'm really seeing now is a lot more along the lines of heightened anxiety of what's going to happen, what's going on in terms of my life, what's going to happen now. Are we going to quarantine again or not? Because I keep hearing about these different variants.
Right.
And I'm seeing a lot of depression that sometimes the patients themselves don't realize, because all of a sudden, as I'm talking to them, you sound a little bit more distant. It sounds like you're not enjoying certain things like you used to enjoy. And that's understandable too, because of what they enjoyed was an outdoor activity or something that shut down during the quarantine. That can be really hard. And they don't realize, gosh, maybe I am slowing down. Maybe I'm not feeling as good as I used to. And maybe I am a little bit depressed. So I'm seeing that a lot more.
There were a few people that we had talked to over the course of a year, mostly residents, because we thought it would be fun to kind of interview many of the residents. And I would ask them the question, well, how do you feel being at home? Now, about halfway through all of this, they were like, I kind of like being home. I like this, I like that. But then as it got even longer into isolation and staying at home, some of those people were okay with it, but then you wonder if they really were okay with it, or were they just saying that? Because I'm wondering if many of those people felt the same way you did, where you say, okay, yeah, I'm okay with it, but really on the inside, I'm depressed and I don't know how to recognize that. Tell me some of the symptoms that people should identify with, or look for if they are in fact one of those people that goes, oh, I'm fine.
Right. No, and that's a great point to make, because a lot of the times we forget, and it's easy to confuse a couple of things. The first thing we have to recognize is sometimes we do enjoy our home time or our alone time, or being, it recharges us so that we can go out and socialize. And so for a lot of people initially, they said, not a problem. I like being at home. I can watch TV. I can like reading. And that's great. They might feel like a little bit more introverted, or they might feel like that's their quiet time. What we don't realize though is how much that quiet time rejuvenates us from something else. And now we got rid of that from something else. So being able to go out on an errand, or, maybe I don't like going to the post office or the grocery store, but I have to do it. And I know I do it. And that actually is very healthy. We think we don't like it, but we don't realize that we're getting our socialization even a little bit just by talking to the cashier or something. It's doing something for our brain that we really like histories, we really enjoy that, and then we can come home to our quiet time. But when all you have is a quiet time, that's where it can slowly creep in on you because you don't realize I haven't talked to anybody for a while, or I haven't gone on my usual routine, and you think, oh no, but I like being alone, which is true. I like being at home, but little by little, you might not realize, wait a minute, I'm slow, but wait, because I always like being at home. So you ask a great question. What symptoms? How do we know what's that transition, or how do we see that transition? One of the things that I would say is this: do you still enjoy doing what you like to do at home alone? So let's just pretend that you enjoy doing puzzles, or whether it be real jigsaw puzzles or crossword puzzles, or you enjoy a certain show on TV or something. Is that still as enjoyable while you're at home, or you've been at home so much that it's gotten kind of boring because there's no switch from it, and now you don't find that impetus or that desire to do those crossword puzzles, or to play whatever games you enjoy playing, or even read a book? Do you still feel that motivation? So if you're starting to lose that, that's a great sign that maybe you're starting to get depressed. Or let's say, gosh, I used to like to call my relatives every so often, and we'd talk about different things, and we'd always have something to talk about. And now after so much time, well, we don't talk as often. We're kind of losing topics to talk about. I'm not as engaged with them, and I just kind of don't feel like calling them. That could be a sign that you're starting to feel a little bit depressed. And then even your routine within the house. So if within the house you're used to waking up at a certain hour, making yourself breakfast, or keeping the house tidy, if that's gone by the wayside, which is very easy to do if we are just staying home all day, if that's gone by the wayside and you're not motivated to kind of just take care of your environment, that could also be a sign that you're getting depressed. Lastly, what I would say, and most importantly is if you start feeling like you're not worth it anymore, or life isn't worth living, or you're not that important to other people because they haven't been called. That's what I'm really touching on and asking my seniors about, because just because nobody's reached out to you doesn't mean you're not important. It just means that throughout this quarantine, other people are extremely well, and it's not that they've forgotten about you, it's just that we're hyper focused on our own situations.
Right. And one last thing, as we're transitioning, we don't really know. I mean, all these people got vaccinated and they're thinking, okay, I should be 95% covered and not get not get the illness. But now there are people who are getting the illness. It may not be as severe, but they're still getting it, and it still is of concern to those elderly folks who may have comorbidities and such. So now not only are you dealing with isolation and depression, now you have to deal with all this anxiety.
Absolutely. And so that's one of the things that I keep telling all my patients, regardless of age, is one of the really good things that came out of this is that we really focus on hygiene. And so that's something that we let up on, because one positive thing is we really didn't have any flu cases this past year. And we're wondering what happened to the flu? Why didn't we have much? My guess is that we were all very vigilant about washing our hands, about making sure surfaces were clean, about disinfecting things, even the not the isolation, but the social distancing, making sure that we're not so close to other people in proximity, because we're used to, just being huddled. All those things actually help to contribute to that. But at the same time, let's not forget, still learning about the virus. So just because we got the vaccine does not, you're not going to get sick from. It can happen, as we see. It's just what the reassurance is that hopefully the symptoms you experience are much lower, and you're not up in the ICU, shall we say, or something along those lines. You might end up with a cold or something. But at the same time, just because you got the vaccine does not mean that it's just a free-for-all and now I don't have to pay attention to the hygiene and I don't have to do any of those other things. You want to continue to do that because we're seeing the virus is still evolving, and we are still learning about potentially different variants and things of that nature, which we have to be cautious about in terms of how do we continue to protect ourselves. All we know is we continue to do what we've been doing. If you're required to wear the mask, wear the mask. If you can wash your hands, if you can distance a little bit, those are all good things to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I think well said, because there are still a lot of questions and things we are learning going forward. So all great things to keep in mind. Thank you so much for sharing the information with us today.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Well, they are having they being the Old Pros, are having auditions, and they're holding those auditions today, which will be in Clubhouse 1 in the art room. And they will be auditioning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And they just want to see what you're able to do. If you dance, sing, act, recite, whatever it is you would like to do, they would like to have you come by and share it with them so they can go forward to help you display your talents in one of their upcoming productions. So check that out. If you have any questions about that, you can go to ocoldpros.org. And then coming up in the next couple of days, Wellness in the Woods is having a Harmony and Health event. Now this will be a Zoom event, so y'all can do it from right within your home. It'll be at 1:30 on August 12th. And the gal that she's having talk is Netta Wenrick, and she's been working with seniors for more than 35 years with experience as a music therapist and Medicare specialist. And who doesn't have questions about Medicare? So you can check this out, and if you want to participate, you can email Leslie at lesliecoretti@yahoo.com, or you can contact her at 949-254-4663. Now, the GRF is taking applications, and you can get those from our corporate secretary. And the application deadline is September 10th, and then the GRF directors will be elected November 10th. And of course, we will have our Meet the Candidates in October and November, so you can see who they are just for your own information. All right, let's take a look at our weather one last time before we head out. As I mentioned, it is going to be very warm over the next few days. We are looking at hot temperatures mostly 2 days out of this week, but right now we are looking at 84, 67 tomorrow, hot with a jump up to 88. Sunshine and very warm on Friday with 87 and the overnights in the 70s. Saturday, hot again with 88, 73. So definitely a good time to utilize your indoor air conditioning, or make sure you wear sunscreen and a hat when you go out for your walks. Have a great day in the Village today. We'll see you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Of course, you can rewatch our programs on our station right here at 12:30 and 5, or you can check out our YouTube channel, Village Television. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Are you or someone you know facing financial challenges from unexpected emergency expenses? The foundation of Laguna Woods Village can provide the temporary help you need. Meals on Wheels, adult day services, dental services, medical alert services, and ambulance contracts. Contact the Village Social Services at 949-597-4267 to see if you qualify. Neighbors helping neighbors. The mission of the foundation of Laguna Woods Village.
I started Sterling Financial under the premise that there was a need for integrity in this industry as well as quality service.
There's such volatility in the stock market. One day it could be up 100 points, the next day it could be down 500 points. Well, what we like to do is be able to have people go to bed and wake up the next morning knowing that their money is safe and secure.
That's what we try to do here at Sterling Financial Advisors, is to create peace of mind and quality of life in retirement.